On a line with me right now, or I should say on air and on the phone line, is Lieutenant Governor from the great state of Michigan, Brian Calley. Good morning and welcome to the Live with Renk show, Lieutenant Governor Calley.
Good morning, Renk. Great to be back on your show again.
I appreciate you coming on. You just announced on Tuesday that you will be running, officially running for your boss's job right now as the next governor. And obviously, there are a couple other people out there, one being Attorney General Brian Calley, as well as, I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry. We'll just leave it at that because it's your time.
Yeah.
And I hear...
no, absolutely.
And how did the first week of your campaigning go? And if the people were to choose you as the next governor, what's the future? What do you want to do with Michigan? What do you want to move forward with what Governor Snyder has implemented, and what else new that a Governor Calley would?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, first of all, I think it makes sense as we dream about the future to keep in mind how far we have come. There's nothing that we can do in the future because in the last 7 years, coming out of the lost decade and into this reinvention, we've seen 500,000 new jobs created in Michigan. We've seen a 17-year low in unemployment. We've seen balanced budgets, $20 billion reduction in our debt, saving for the future, top 10 rate and income growth across the country. And so this is a time in Michigan where we have really come back. To take it to the next level, though, it's different. What we need for the future is different. And that's because the biggest problem that we see in our economy today, from employers small to large, is they're having a hard time finding enough people with the right skills to fill all these jobs. And so talent development, increasing the pipeline of our in our workforce, getting more people back to work. This is how we build the best future. It takes reform in the K-12 system, and I'm shooting for #1 in the country in our pre-K through 12 system. And also expanding the great work that we've started on skilled trades to have it really wide open in terms of filling that pipeline. There's so many good opportunities in skilled trades. I'm proposing 100,000 more in just the first 4 years, and then transformation in our social services, turning it into a springboard to employment. We need more people back to work. There's tons of opportunity out there. Work is good for people, and also at the end of the day, our economy demands it.
What do you mean? Can you give us a little bit more detail on using the social service system to springboard people into employment?
Right now, our social service system it just maintains people where they're at, and that's not good enough. And so I put out, if you check out at briancalley.com, I've got the plan laid out there, but the main tenets of that plan are to establish an application process that turns into a plan for independence. So in other words, on day one when you go on assistance, we start the plan for getting you off assistance. And then the way that we help people, it's not about just sustaining where you're at, but evaluating what's the problem here, what has led to a person needing this type of assistance, and make sure that the way that we help solves that problem, helps the person to get past that barrier. It might be addiction. It might be skill building. It might be that they have a felony on their record. It might be that there's an untreated mental illness or something like that. The way that we're helping people needs to help them to get to a place of independence, and then we need to have work requirements. People can fall out of the habit of working, and it's really hard to get back in the game. And so if we were to have at least community service requirements, but hopefully even job training and internships and apprenticeships and so forth, as people are getting back to work, I think that'd make a huge difference. Service system into a pipeline.
So basically, you're looking at not to park people there and let them worry about how to get out of it. We take an active role, we as a state of Michigan, to help them get out of it.
As long as we're helping them sustain, we might as well help them become more independent.
That sounds great. And I also know you want to continue on the opioid addiction epidemic and bringing civility to public service. What do you mean about that?
Well, there is a political divide in this nation. It's been growing for years and years, but it just seems like our political system is more interested in leveraging that political divide instead of finding a way to bring people together and making a difference for the future. And that's been the difference here in Michigan. We haven't been about just the endless fighting and bickering and gridlock. We've been about the work. We've been about getting things done, making things happen for the people of the state of Michigan. And you can tell it in the results. I mean, we are outpacing the nation in manufacturing job growth. But did you know we're literally number one in that category, but we're number six overall in the United States of America in overall job growth. The reason that we're doing so much better than we were before is because we've done major tax reform. We've done regulatory reform. We've balanced our budgets and created stability and reduced the debt. All these things matter in terms of a growing economy and environment for growth. And we were able to get that done because we haven't been about the fight. We've been about getting it done.
Now, I wanted to ask you, what would you say to many people? Because people are saying one thing, that the issue that Lieutenant Governor Calley would have is the Flint water issue affecting your campaign, being that it happened under Governor Snyder, and you're the lieutenant governor. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, when I decided I would literally move my office to Flint and be on the ground working shoulder to shoulder with people about the future. And there were enough people that were looking backward, looking in the rearview mirror. They were arguing and finger pointing and casting blame and leveraging politics and politicizing. There's so much of that happening, but what the people of Flint needed and what they deserve was somebody on the ground who would roll up their sleeves and work with them day in and day out on making the future better. So it was education, nutrition, health care, infrastructure, economic development. Those are the things that I decided to work on. And I worked in Flint so much in 2016 that I actually filed a city income tax return there because that was my place of work. But that's what I thought that's what I think the difference is between me and so many other people that have been engaged in this at the state level, at least, that it's not looking toward the past or politicizing. That's the people of Flint deserve better than that. They deserve somebody who's going to be with them on the ground moving forward. In the middle of a crisis, that's how I lead. Well,
okay, real quickly, I have about 50 seconds. In your discussion about politicizing, one of your primary opponent, Attorney General Schuette's prosecuting state employees, you said this. Quote, sure, people will use different aspects of the past as weapons and politicize all kinds of things. I don't see how there can be any shadow of a doubt that the process that Schuette has carried out has been highly politicized. I only can give you about 40 seconds, but your thoughts?
Well, I think that former Attorney General Frank Calley said it best, that people shouldn't be criminally charged for political reasons, and there's been a lot of that going around. The people of Flint deserve to have an investigation, a process that has accountability and moving and helping the city move forward, and no politics involved.
All right, appreciate you coming on, Lieutenant Governor Calley, and good luck in your race.
Thanks, Renk. It's been a pleasure to be on the show again.
Yeah, you have a great day, and we'll do it again, maybe a little bit more in depth in the future. There, I'd like to dive down, like I asked Attorney General Schuette, to the details of what you guys are talking about. Remember, State Senator Patrick Colbeck's also running for governor.